Well, good day, subscribers. I really enjoyed my semester off, but now we're back into the OMSCS program with what I think is the core class in the entire program, CS7641 Machine Learning. I've got a lot to say on this class, so let's get started. Alright, so before we get into the review of CS7641 Machine Learning, I just want to do a little bit of reminiscing of what my semester off was like. I really enjoyed my semester off, and for anybody who's in the OMSCS program and also working full-time, I definitely recommend taking a semester off if that's something that you can do. It just let my whole body calm down, let my nerves calm down a little bit, and let me do a couple of things that I really wish I would have been able to do these past time, but had to spend that time doing schoolwork. So it's definitely something I would recommend if you can do it. During my semester off, I made a couple of different video series for the channel, but my favorite was the 7-part series, How to Build a Robinhood Auto Stock Trader in Python. I've gotten a lot of good response from that series, and if those kind of things are things that you enjoy on this channel, leave a comment below and let me know what other kind of things, tech-related or not, that you guys would like to see. Lastly, before getting into the review, I just want to thank all of you guys, the subscribers, for making this channel so much fun. Over my semester off, we actually got the channel over 1,000 subscribers, which is a really big milestone. So thank you guys all for sticking around, and I hope to see more of you guys interact and more people come in as time goes on. So now into the class and what I thought of it. So CS7641 Machine Learning. Like I said, I really think that this class is the core class in the OMSCS program, especially if you're getting a specialization in machine learning like I am. This class really has 4 focuses throughout the class, which are supervised learning, unsupervised learning, dimensionality reduction and clustering, and reinforced learning. These are kind of the 3 to 4 main types of machine learning algorithms just in total that we've discussed a little bit in other videos, but this class really gets into them and it's really the focus of the course. So a little bit about the grading for this course. This course has 4 major assignments, and these assignments are kind of circled around the major topics that we talked about in the previous slide. These assignments are made up of a coding portion and a report portion, and they are pretty big, so whenever you get them, I would recommend getting started right away. There's 2 problem sets in the course, and the problem sets, you're supposed to choose 3 out of the 7 questions they give you, and they're just kind of questions that sort of mimic what you'll see on the test, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the slides. And then there are 2 tests, a midterm and an exam, and those are both worth 25% each, so those are a big chunk of your grade. The first assignment for this course is on supervised learning, and it's worth 15% of your final grade. Like I said, the assignments in this course are made up of a coding portion and a written portion, and for this assignment, the written portion is a 12-page report, so it's a decent size. The assignment is comprised of comparing 5 different machine learning classifiers against 2 different data sets that you get to choose. Overall, this was really my favorite assignment in the whole course. I felt it really helped you understand a bunch of different types of supervised learning algorithms, compare them all so you could know their advantages and disadvantages with different data sets and different things you were trying to achieve, and it really helped you conceptualize what supervised learning was so that you could compare it to the other types like unsupervised learning and clustering that you learn later on in the course. For each assignment and test in the course, the professors were kind enough to give a grade distribution of how everybody did on that assignment or test, which was really helpful. I'll talk a little bit more of what I thought of grading in this course at the end when I go through the pros and the cons of the course, but for right now, just focusing on this assignment, as you guys can see, the average for this assignment was a 54, and that is pretty reflective of what the course grading was like overall. Assignment 2 was on randomized optimization, and was worth 10% of your final grade. For this assignment, the report was a bit shorter at only 10 pages compared to 12 from the previous assignment, and I thought this assignment overall was the most manageable for the entire course. This assignment was made up of comparing 4 different randomization optimizers, randomized hill climbing, simulated annealing, genetic algorithm, and mimic, along with using the neural network from assignment 1 against 3 different optimization problems. This assignment, like the first, was really enjoyable and helped you better understand the techniques that you were talking about in the lectures. As before, this assignment came with a grade distribution, and as you guys can see, the average grade for this assignment was slightly higher than it was before, with an average score of about 58%. Another thing to note on this assignment is there were a lot more people who got 100 on this assignment than basically any other assignment in the course. And just a little secret, I was one of them. The third assignment was on unsupervised learning and dimensionality reduction, and, like assignment 2, was worth 10% of your final grade. Again, same as assignment 2, this assignment had a 10-page report with it along with the coding portion. Overall, even though the write-up for this assignment was shorter, this assignment had the most work out of all of the homeworks for this course. The assignment was made up of comparing 4 different dimensionality reduction methods with 2 different clustering algorithms, and then combining that information with the neural network you built in assignment 1 to reclassify the data sets that you had again from assignment 1. This assignment really helped you understand the concepts and showed you how unsupervised learning techniques could be combined with supervised learning techniques to improve the data and hopefully your classification accuracy, which I thought was really cool. And just like with every assignment in this course, this had a grade distribution, and as you guys can see, again on this one, the grade distribution shifted up a little bit more in terms of the average, this time being about 62%. And the last assignment was on the Markov decision process, and, like assignment 1, was worth 15% of your final grade. Like assignment 2 and 3, this assignment had a 10-page report along with the code. In this assignment, you were to take 3 different reinforcement learning techniques, value iteration, policy iteration, and one of your choice, and use them to solve 2 different Markov decision problems. This assignment was probably my least favorite out of the 4, but overall really wasn't that bad. And again, we have the distribution for the assignment. One thing to note for this is, as you guys can see, the average for this assignment rose a little bit again to 65%. This is really for 2 reasons. First of all, just like in every course, as the course goes on, the students get a little bit better at understanding what exactly the professors and the graders are looking for, and so they'll tend to do a little bit better and a little bit better. But also, early in the class, you have more students, and after they get their first bad grade or their second bad grade, they might drop the course, and that just leaves the remaining students who did a little bit better on the first and second assignment, and that kind of helps the grade average go up over time. So now that we've taken a look at all 4 of the assignments for this class, let's take a quick look at the problem sets for this class. Like I said, the problem sets were designed to kind of get you prepared for the midterm and the final exam. The problem sets were given to you as 7 or 8 different questions, and you were to choose 3 out of those questions. And an important note for this problem set is that the problem sets were not graded. The idea for the problem sets were supposed to be that they weren't going to be graded, they weren't going to contribute to your grade, but at the end of the course, if you were right on the edge between getting the difference of a C to a B or a B to an A, the problem sets would be looked at as a way to kind of evaluate if you should be bumped over that threshold. So I don't totally agree with how these were done. It's not the way that I would run a class, but this is how it was done in the class. And lastly, just taking a look at the midterm and the final. So the midterm and the final were kind of made up of the same type of thing, and what I mean is they were made up of the same structure, which were 16 questions with multiple parts. Now these questions were very tricky, almost tricky to a point where it's unfair, where the test is designed more to trick you than it is to actually test your knowledge of the subject. For the midterm, you were given 90 minutes to complete these same 16 questions, and in the final, you were given 180 minutes, so twice the amount of time to do the same work. And an important note for this test was on both the midterm and the final, it was no notes, no internet, no anything. So it was just you on your computer. You had to video the whole surrounding that you were in so that you weren't using any notes or any internet or any way of getting other information. It was just whatever you could remember. Some pointers for the midterms for anybody who is going to take this course: start the midterm from the end of the test and then go up. The reason I say that is the questions that had multiple parts were at the beginning of the test, and you would have to answer 5 of the multiple parts in order to get the same percent grade as just answering one of the lower sections. So as soon as you start the test, scroll to the bottom of the test and kind of start from there where the points are higher and you'll get more meaningful grade because, again, you only have 90 minutes to do the midterm and you will run out of time. Second, move quickly and don't think too hard. Once you get the answer, just move to the next question, or once you think you've written enough, move to the next question. Like I said, the questions are written kind of tricky, and so you don't want to spend too much time going back and forth and rechecking your answer because, especially for the midterm, you're going to run out of time. In the final, it's not as much of a problem. The 180 minutes was more than enough time to go through the whole test and then go through the whole test again, checking your work. But with 90 minutes, you're going to run out of time. Here we can see a grade distribution for the midterm along with sections for what was considered an A, what was considered a B, and what was considered a C for the midterm. The average for this was a 45, which is really low, and like I'll talk about later when I go through the pros and cons, is kind of one of my bigger grievances with the course, but you can kind of see how they did the midterm and how they did the grade distribution along with the curve. All right, so now we've taken a look at the 4 assignments for this course, the problem sets, and the midterm and final. And now we're on to my favorite part of these videos, which is when I get to tell you about the pros, the cons, and if I would take the course again. And for machine learning, I really have 3 big pros. First, the material in the class is interesting and very applicable to anybody who's interested in machine learning. Second, the assignments are all related to what you're learning in the lecture, and this is kind of a special one. I've had other courses, even in this program, where the homework seemed to kind of be randomly picked and not directly related to the information that you're learning in the lectures. And in this course, they do a really great job of giving you a high-level view in the lectures and then allowing you to dive deeper into the information and learn more about it in the assignments. And third, they allow you to code the problems in any coding language you like. For me, I'm most comfortable with Python, so when I was doing the assignments, I was writing them in Python. But if you're more comfortable in Java or another language, you can do the assignments in that language without any points being taken off, which is really helpful. And now, on to the cons. And unfortunately, for this course, I do have a few cons. First, the exams are unnecessarily tricky, and you're not allowed to use notes or research or the internet while you're taking them. This is frustrating because the added trickiness of the exams doesn't give you anything in terms of understanding the material better. It just makes you nervous while taking the test that you didn't note something that might have been purposely put in there to trick you. And second, not being allowed to use notes or the internet while you're taking the test doesn't relate to real life, because in real life, when you're doing any type of computer science problem, you're going to be directly on a computer and you would be able to look up any kind of small bits of specific information that you might not have readily available or remember right away. Second, the grades in this course are kind of impossible to calculate. And what I mean is, as you guys saw, as we went through the grade distribution for each homework, the averages were somewhere between a 50 and a 60. And with the curve in this course, you really don't know where you stand at any given time. You might have your 4 homework grades, and altogether that might calculate something like a 72, which should be a C, but because of the curve, you don't know if you're at a C or a B or maybe even an A. And that just adds another layer of frustration of not knowing where exactly you stand, and it has nothing to do with the course material, which is machine learning. And third, the grading for the homeworks and for the problem sets, if they are being graded, but specifically the homeworks, is random and there's no rubric. Meaning when you're doing the homeworks or when you're looking through your homework grade, there's no real way for you to look at it and say, oh, they took 5 points off in this section, but I don't think that's exactly correct. They really just give you a grade, some number out of 100, and then an explanation of what happened, but they don't tell you exactly where they took points off and why they took points off. And this is just another layer of difficulty. Added on to that, the regrading policy for the course is, in my opinion, really unfair. If you ask for a regrade, again, not knowing where exactly you lost points, and you don't receive at least 5 points back on your assignment, you lose 10 points. Meaning if you did the assignment, you thought you did it really well, you received back a 70 out of 100, and you think that's not exactly correct, you're not sure exactly where you lost points because they didn't give you a rubric, but you asked for a regrade and you only get 2 points back that might have been missed by the TA, you actually lose 10 additional points and you would end with a 62 instead of a 72, which might have been the grade that you actually earned. And in my opinion, again, it's just another layer of unnecessarily added difficulty to the course that has nothing to do with the course material, machine learning. And this brings me to who should take this course. And the real answer is anyone who's trying to get a specialization in machine learning, because machine learning is a required class for that specialization. Which brings me to my biggest grievance of the course, which is, would I take this course again? And the real answer is, if I didn't have to, I don't know that I would. The OMSCS program is hard, and it takes a lot of work, and machine learning is not an easy concept. That's why it's extra frustrating when the hardest part for the course isn't the material itself, but instead the grading. It's an unnecessary added stress that doesn't add anything to the information you learn in the course. And like I said, the information you learn in the course is really great. If I could give a grade to just the information, I would probably give it an A. But if I could give a grade to the stress that you have only because of grading, I would give it a C, which really leaves the class as a whole as maybe a B-level class. So I liked it, but I definitely didn't love it. Really, if I could make one recommendation to the OMSCS program, it would be to redo this course. This course is, in my opinion, the flagship course for the program. And because of the way it's graded, it just doesn't look good for the program. So I hope I didn't scare you guys away from this course, but if you go through it, and if you're trying to get a concentration in machine learning, you will go through this course, just be aware that the grading is a little bit crazy and it's going to add a little extra stress. But overall, like I said, the information in the course is really well done. The people who are teaching the course really know their stuff. And I am happy that I took the course because I feel much more confident in machine learning. Well, that's it, everybody. This was the review for CS7641 Machine Learning. I hope you guys all enjoyed this review. And if you have any questions, leave a comment in the comments section. And as always, thanks and subscribe.